Hello everyone, how are you all doing? I hope you are doing well and that these energies ain't kicking your booty. Today we are doing a what do I need to know reading. We are going to connect to divine energy and spirit and our spiritual teams, or whatever labels you want to apply. Slap them on right now. We're going to delve in and we're going to see what comes through for each and every one of you. So we have our Ancestors and Angels deck here. Pile 1, we have the Oracle, wait for important information. Pile 2, we have the Animal Guardian, trust your instinct. And pile 3, we have the Traveler, move in a new direction. And then I'm just going to pull some other tarot on top of that to see if there's any other messages that come through. Let's see what is happening for pile number 1, the Oracle. Let's make sure you can actually see what I'm doing here. Yeah. So let's see what's coming through for the Oracle, pile number 1. Wait for important information. Do you know what though? I feel like it's deeper than that, pile number 1. I feel like it comes down to trusting yourself and trusting your own intuition. I feel like you can wait for important information, so you might be waiting for a sign. But I want to say this, right? One of the things that I learned very early on when I reconnected to everything again was signs are everywhere, okay? There are signs everywhere, like literally every single split second there's a sign. So what I was told to do from my spiritual team was to find specific symbols that represent me, so that I know that when I see a sign, that sign is definitely me. And me, I'm a Leo, I'm stubborn. I'm just like, okay, well, I can say I want to see 222, and then I see 222 everywhere, and then I'm just like, yeah, but you know. So then I set up I chose 3 different symbols that are my symbols, so I know that when I see them, that is directly like, Jane, we're trying to talk to you, girl, pay attention, you know. So I feel like maybe pile number 1, you're looking for a sign, but maybe this is a great time for you to kind of do the same, in a sense of finding a symbol that represents you, so you know that every time you see that, like, you know, it's a dead certain this, that and that and what. Because I think when it comes to symbols and spirituality and all that kind of stuff, because there are symbols literally happening all the time, it's difficult to really know, or you doubt it, and there's all this kind of like doubting energy that comes with it. So I would say, just through my experience of my journey, that if you are looking for a sign and you don't know, and you feel this self-doubt and all this kind of stuff, speak to your teams, you know. If you're connected and you're spiritual and you believe in that kind of stuff, check in with your spiritual team and find symbols that represent you. And, you know, because your spiritual teams, they're ready and waiting for you to ask them for help. So yes, our spiritual teams are there 24/7 non-stop, helping us along the way, but sometimes we have to ask them to help us. They're literally waiting for you to say, hey, spiritual team, help me out. You know, that's what they're there for. That's what they're there for. I used to have this big thing around asking for help, especially like with my spiritual team and that, because I just didn't want to feel like a burden. And I can't remember what I was watching. I was watching this video, and one thing that stood out is this person was just saying, they're literally waiting for you to ask for help. Your spiritual team are literally waiting for you to ask for help. Because we can, you know, our spiritual teams, angels and all that, they can't fuck with our free will. So you have to ask and be a part of this journey too. Like, it's not just up to them to, you know, do this and do that. Like, you are a part of this journey too. So it's important for you to play that part, play that role, to ask them for help, to, you know, to get specific on things that you want and things that you don't want. You know, a lot of psychics and stuff, when they're, or mediums even, when they're doing what they're doing, they have they have to set up a open, close, on, off type thing, because imagine being open to energy and spirit for, you know, 24/7. There's got to be a point where you turn that volume down, otherwise you're just going to get drained. So a lot of mediums and a lot of like psychics and stuff, they actually have an open and close thing set up with their spiritual teams and spirit and stuff. Otherwise you're just going to get like ran through like a train. Like, not disrespectfully, but it's just, it is what it is. You can research it if you want to. I might not be explaining it properly, but you can research this stuff. It's out there. It's yeah, it's out there. So, you know, just research it and stuff. I am seeing like this other energy as well around rituals, and maybe like around, it just feels so simple but so effective, you know. And I'm really drawn to like this this bowl and the fact that she's covering her head and stuff, and I'm thinking, what could this represent? Could it just represent a simple thing like drinking or making your own tea, you know? Or is there an actual ritual or an offering or some kind of something? This feels just like a really big reconnect to your spiritual team, because they're waiting for you. That's what it feels like. Let's just be real. Let's stop going around the bushes. Your spiritual team are waiting for you to ask them for help and to tap in and to meditate, so they can talk to you and talk through you and show you and, you know, prepare you and all other kinds of stuff. So if you're ever sitting there and you're in this doubt energy of, oh, I don't know, is that a sign? Is this, is that? Listen, connect to your spiritual team, your ancestors, because they will help you, period. Let's see what else is coming through for pile number 1. I'm really telling you, like, when your spiritual team, like, I don't even know how to tell you, it's really that simple of, like, they're waiting to reconnect with you. Your spiritual team are literally waiting for you to reconnect. I don't know why you drifted away. I don't know why you can't hear them. I don't know why this message is coming up for pile number 1. Maybe pile number 1, you're new to this and you've just kind of had your awakening. Or maybe you had your awakening and then you kind of drifted away. Or maybe you feel like there's a blockage around you connecting to your spiritual team and stuff. But that blockage, it sits within you. It's nothing to do with your spiritual team. They're literally waiting for you to communicate and sort out whatever blockage this is. You can even ask them to help you with whatever blockage it is that you have, that you feel is separating you from them. Just ask them. Meditate. Or, you know, meditation doesn't have to be sitting there. You can do it through art, dance. You can just be walking in nature, you know, whatever brings you peace and whatever clears your mind enough for you to be open to receiving information, whatever it takes. Maybe you need to find a new way for that to happen. Maybe sitting down meditating doesn't work for you no more. Maybe for you it's about getting out in nature now and taking walks to quiet your mind. Or maybe it's writing, some kind of something that brings you peace. Find that peace so that you can reconnect to your spiritual team. Because I really do see them with this Queen of Swords energy, like in this, I really do see them trying to talk to you, but they can't get through to you because there's this blockage in the middle. There's this blockage. And this is Swords energy, right? So this is all in the mind. So maybe there's a lot of mental talk. And the thing with this 8 of Swords energy as well is you can at any time set yourself free. These binds, these ropes and bandages and stuff, they're loose. You can literally wriggle free from this situation at any moment you choose to. But maybe not seeing the truth, or maybe this is your comfort zone. Maybe this is what you're used to. Maybe this is what you're used to telling yourself. Maybe you're surrounded by these swords and this is like your comfort zone. And you fear that maybe the moment you kind of take off the blindfold and set yourself free from, you know, these ropes and stuff, that, you know, some people are afraid of like failing, and some people, believe it or not, are afraid of success. There's fear around success. I don't know why, but maybe that's something for you, you know. A fear of actually succeeding, because then maybe you might have to, you know, have that responsibility of keeping up or something. That's just this very strange energy. But that blockage that's blocking you is so tiny in detail, but it's so major in effect. Does that make sense? It's such a tiny little thing, but that tiny little thing, you know, like when you look at machinery, right? Is it a cog in the, you know, like the wheels turning, and then you get like something that just, maybe like a stone, like a tiny little pebble that stops that whole machinery from working. There's just this one little thing that's in the way and it's blocking you. But it's so tiny and so easy to, I mean, it's easy for me to say easy, but if you knew how tiny this thing was and how capable you are of removing it, you would see that this Six of Cups energy, like the reconnecting, the reconciliations, the childlike spirit, it's all just there waiting for this thing to be removed, to be like taken out of the equation, and then it's like clear communication. So I don't know if you can apply that, whatever you want to apply that to. It's difficult to be very specific, considering that this is a collective read. And so whatever area in your life you feel that blockage in, whether it's relationships, work, yourself, with your spiritual team, whatever it is that you can connect it to, connect the dots. If some of you are asking about like a reconciliation and are coming back together in some kind of relationship with someone, yeah, there can be. The possibility is definitely there with this card, right? That is the reconnecting card. That is the reconciliation. That is the past returning. But you're waiting to hear from someone, but you're here in the middle full of fear, and that fear is the blockage. Your doubt and your worry and your stress is actually stopping this reconnection. And yeah, I know it's hard to hear these things sometimes, but it really does come down to you. Like, it really does come down to you, because once you take this self-doubt and this madness out of the way, the connection path is just straight there. Communication happens, reconciliation happens, reconnecting, it happens. But this energy right here, this is what's stopping you. And it's all in the mind, in the sense of how you talk to yourself, fear, stress, anxiety. Whatever that card represents for you is the reason why this thing is not happening, why this reconnection is not happening, why you can't connect with your spiritual team or a person or whatever it represents for you. This Eight of Swords energy. So pile number one, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know if that resonates with you in the comment section below. I'm going to move on to pile number two and see what's happening for pile number two. Pile number two, your card is Animal Guardian, Trust Your Instincts. Which is interesting, because considering I was just talking to pile number one about intuition and trust and all that kind of stuff, I feel like with this energy here it's exactly the same. And I wouldn't be surprised, pile number two, if you haven't been meeting your animal guides, your spirit animal guides. or if you've been having like spiritual dreams, and maybe you're walking alongside, you know, like the strength card in the tarot deck is, you know, a woman walking alongside a lion. So maybe in your dreams and stuff like that, you could be having these very spiritual dreams where you're walking alongside your spirit animals, and they're trying to communicate message, they're trying to give you a message and stuff, and they're trying to show you something in your dream. So if that is the case and you are having these kind of spiritual dreams, if you can remember them, I know a lot of times when it comes to spiritual dreams and astral travel and stuff like that, you don't remember, but if you can remember any detail, even if it's the smallest detail, start writing it down. Notice what animals you feel drawn to. Notice any messages that come up for you, like repeated messages that keep coming up for you at the moment. I do see for pole number 2 as well that you could be in a situation where you're being pulled in 2 different directions, and you don't really know which way to go. But I'm feeling this energy of like taking a step back and listening to your own intuition, and then trusting yourself. Like, you know you better than anybody else, right? Whether you know all the details and such, like, you know yourself. You know that gut feeling. You know that you're being pulled in a certain direction. So take a step back maybe and listen to what your instinct is trying to tell you. If you know, when you meet someone, they say within the first 3 seconds you can tell if that person carries good or bad energy, or if you have any connection to that person, you can usually tell within the first 3 seconds. Like, I feel that your instinct is on fire, but for some reason you are not trusting what your instinct is telling you. And I think because you don't trust what your instinct is telling you, you're getting caught up in all of these really weird situations. And I say weird because I don't really know. It doesn't seem like it's a difficult situation. It just seems like it could have been a situation that could have been avoided if you had trusted your own intuition and your own instinct. Do you know what I mean? And it's not weird. Me, when I use the word weird, I want you to understand that for me is a positive word, because I find weird very wonderful. I'm just saying. I am drawn to like these wings too. Like, we have the owl here that's spread winged and, you know, in flight mode, and then we have these wings here too. And maybe this is your instinct is telling you one thing, but you're staying put, and maybe what your instinct is trying to tell you is it's time to leave this situation. It's time to take flight. It's time to move on and leave whatever this is in the past. You are very spiritually protected as well with this crow energy and with this panther energy here too. Very protective energy. You can see this panther here is even trying to whisper to you. It's even talking to you. Are you listening? Are you paying attention? This crow here, it has its eyes out, watching, making sure, you know, like reaffirming, reconfirming, whatever the word is, you know, like pushing your instinct even further, like, listen. Your spiritual team, they have their eye on this too, and they're trying to get your attention. They're trying to make you pay attention to your instincts. Let's see what else is happening for pole number 2 with the tarot. Pole number 2, I feel like, yes, it's definitely time for you to make a move. Yeah. We have the Knight of Wands here, and we have the Death card. There is definitely an ending in this situation, and I think Your instinct has been telling you for quite some time that it's time to leave this situation, but it's like your heart has kind of stopped that process from happening because you are connected and attached to whoever and whatever this situation is. But this Knight of Wands here and this Death card, they've been telling you for a long time that it's time to move on from this situation, but you just won't because you're so invested in it. And the messages as well, with this Three of Wands energy here, it's literally dominant telling me that listen to the messages, listen to the message, listen to the message. And I feel like this message, this I'm going to say the word instinct because it's just here and it's easier to use, I guess. Your instinct has been trying to pull you away from this situation for such a long time. Like, listen to the message, listen to yourself, trust yourself, because not only is this time to leave, it's time to leave this situation, but there's something so much more exciting waiting for you on the other side of whatever this situation represents for you. I can feel the excitement with this Knight of Wands energy here. Like, he's excited, he's ready to, like, he's all about freedom, he's all about exploring, he's all about taking the journey to the next level. And the Death card is about death and rebirth, right? It doesn't just stop at death, there's a rebirth that happens straight afterwards. So even though this situation might come to an end, there's a much more, it's like, if you look at the rotation, right, it goes around like this, it's a circle. So you've got death and then you've got the excited energy that comes in straight afterwards. It's like you're just putting so much of yourself with this Empress energy here. Like, you're putting so much of yourself into this situation, so much of your heart, your time, your energy into this situation that you can't even hear, or should I more say, you've turned the volume down when it comes to your intuition and your instinct, because you want this situation to work out for you, but there is something else trying to come in for you that's much more better than this situation. And even if we take the message just back to basic for a second, trust yourself. Like, get out of that ego space of, but I want it to work, I want, it needs, like, get out of that energy and get back into like your heart center and your, get back into that soul energy and realize that, you know, life is a cycle. We have seasons, we have hours, we have days, there's a cycle to absolutely everything in nature. There's a cycle. And it's not to say that this is a definite end, because, you know, you might have to walk away from this situation for now, but what's to say that later down the line you will not reconnect back to this situation and everything will be much better? Because I know that if you're standing in this situation and your instincts are telling you to get out, I know that this situation right now for you is not a good situation to be in, because it's going to be very draining. You're probably going to feel very not on edge, but the more you give, you're going to keep giving, you're going to keep giving, you're going to keep giving, and then one day you're going to have nothing left to give, you know? Because whatever this situation is and represents, it's not pouring back into you. You're just giving at this point. And you're, at the moment, you might be able to give because you've got the Empress here, right? She's a very abundant person. But what happens when this woman, or feminine energy, what happens when she constantly gives and she doesn't receive? Feminine energy is very receiving. So if all you're doing is giving and you're not receiving, eventually that's going to affect you. And I feel like your instinct is already telling you that. Your instinct is pulling at you and saying, look, it's time to kind of pull back now. You know, it's time to pull back. It's time to kind of move on, leave this situation behind, and like, let's go off and let's explore. Let's like live. And, you know, there's a lot of messages coming in for pole 2, and I feel like you're not really hearing them because your focus is so dead set on whatever this is for you that you don't actually even want to hear what your instinct has to say. You don't really want to hear what other people have to say. You might not even want to hear anything, because what you want is what you want, and you're going to stay where you're at until you get it. But what you don't realize is, and you know, I know this is probably hitting you in a certain spot in your body, right? And I know that you probably might not even want to hear this, but maybe you're already in this process, and you know, like, the final straw is for you to let go fully and to trust. Like this message is saying, listen, trust. Yeah, I see that you're in that process of like moving on and letting go. Cut that final cord so you can let go and move on and, you know, get excited for life again. For some of you, you're very stubborn and you're not allowing this process to happen. But I've been hearing this quote a lot recently, that you wanna catch the message before that tower moment, that godly energy happens. Because if you catch it and you trust yourself and you listen to yourself, like, you won't feel the harshness of what happens when you don't listen. Because they say those who don't hear, they feel, right? So if you're not listening to your own intuition and you're not trusting your own instincts, eventually what's going to happen is you're going to experience something that's going to like literally kick you up the arse, and it's not going to be pleasant. But listen, coming from someone that learns the hard way, I get it. I learn a lot of lessons the hard way because I'm stubborn. So I get that process. But if I had listened to myself when my instincts were telling me it's time to move, I could have saved myself a lot of heartache and a lot of trauma. So, pile number 2, let me know if that resonates for you in the comment section below. And I hope to catch you guys in my next video. Let's see what is happening for pile number 3. Pile number 3, we have the traveller, move in a new direction. And you know what, pile number 3, there's a couple of things that I feel like I can pick up on here. And the main one is just move. Just move. Pick a direction and go. You know, because I feel that pile number 3, you don't really know where you're going. And sometimes we hit that crossroads in our life where we don't know which direction to go, and we can stay stuck in the middle and constantly look around and hope that we're going to be pulled in a certain direction and we're going to be shown the way. But I feel like pile number 3, where you're at right now in life, it's like time for you to trust your divine compass. So if you're at a crossroads and you don't really know which direction to go, it doesn't really matter which direction you go in then, because it's all going to lead to the same place. You know? Whether you go right, left, up, down, it doesn't really matter, because it's all going to lead you to where you need to go. So at this point, just put one foot in front of the other and go. The other thing is a search for new information, maybe a search for a new experience. Maybe pile number 3, maybe you're staying put in an area in your life. Listen, just life, listen. Some of you might need to move, literally. Move house, move country, move. You need a new experience, because where you're at, where you've, like, your journey up until this point has been great. Like, you've got to where you're going, and if you can't see your future where you're at now, maybe it's time for you to move, literally. Maybe it's time for you to start looking for a new home. Maybe it's time for you to start traveling, you know. Maybe, like, it's time. Just because you were born in a certain place doesn't mean like you're meant to stay there forever, you know. Like, some people, you know, when you look at your natal chart and stuff, some people are travelers. Some people need to travel. That's how they live. That's how they get the best out of their life, through experiencing that travel, the different cultures, the different places, the different, you know, temperatures, foods, whatever. Your body, your mind, your soul is screaming for new information. And when I say new information, I'm talking sensory, I'm talking taste, I'm talking energy, I'm talking like sight, I'm talking touch, materials, all of it. You need newness, you need to experience something new. And it could be as drastic as packing your shit up and going to a different country just to experience what it's like to be somewhere else. But I do feel like on a more kind of day-to-day kind of energy that it does say like move. Just doesn't matter how slow you move, just please move. So whether that's to do with your health, or you can apply movement to absolutely everything. Health, work, plans, ideas, all of it. Make the move. I don't know if you just heard that heavy sigh. That heavy sigh was the sigh of, it's time to go. This underlining energy here of the death card, you know it's time to move on. You know you can't stay where you are. You know it's time to, like, no matter how small the step is, you have to move out of this situation. Whether it's looking for a new home, or starting a new job, or new ideas, new, like now, like no matter how small the move is, you need to move. Whether you decide that you go for a 5-minute walk up and down the road, or you decide, you know, hey, fuck it, I want to book a flight. I mean, I know with restrictions and stuff it's hard, but there are certain places you can go. You know, go. You know, there might be that calling to go and do this and go and do that. Do what you want to do at the end of the day, but I know you can't deny that feeling of there's something. Like, you know, this situation where you're at, this comfort zone, this looking back, like, yes, you know, looking back to see, you know, what you've created and all of that kind of stuff is great, and it's good to look back, and it's good to, you know, see where you've come from and what you're doing. But this pentacle down here, like this pentacle, like, it's on its own. Like, it needs to be planted somewhere. It needs attention. Yeah, we need to, you know, it's good to take note of the past, but it's also good now to, like, move on. Like, this comfort zone is kind of like outdated now. You know, like when you have that comfortable sofa and you know you need a new one, but the comfortable sofa, it's like, it knows your shape. It knows, you know, it's just comfortable to sit in because it's molded to you. It's molded to how you sit and what's comfortable in it. You know, you don't want to get up because it feels so good to be sat in your little comfort zone. But this pentacle and this death energy and this traveler, they're like, honey, we don't fit in this situation no more. We've got to take ourselves out of this situation and move forward. This pentacle doesn't fit with the past. This pentacle is meant for something new. And this Page of Cups energy, like this fish, this man's looking at this fish, and this fish looks like he's talking to this man, and it's like, even this fish is like, look, have a word with yourself, mate. Like, have a talk with yourself. You got something somewhere you need to be, and you're sitting here like talking to me. I'm a fish, damn it. Time to move on. Have a word with yourself. It just feels like pole number 3, you're so comfortable where you are that it's actually starting to get really uncomfortable. Because now your life is being affected by the fact that you're so comfortable. So you might physically be comfortable where you're at, but now you're so comfortable that your life and your experiences are starting to suffer because of this comfort area. I mean, even if it's like, for me, the newness that I feel coming for pile number 3, you don't necessarily have to book a flight and experience a new country, but I do see that you need, like, the craving for newness, the, you know, learning something new. It just feels very sensational in the sense of, like, your senses. You need to taste new foods, you need to experience new visions, you need to see new things, you need to touch new fabrics or, you know, textures. There needs to be newness on a very simple and internal level. I don't know how to make it make sense, but I hope it's coming across in a way that you can understand. So whether that is you booking a flight somewhere to experience a whole new surrounding, whether that means you moving home, whether it means you stepping out into the world and going for walks in nature, whatever it is, the movement is needed. No matter like, you can't see what step or direction to go in. It doesn't matter, because no matter where you go right now is better than where you're at. Whether you decide to just get up one day and step outside your door and just stand there and just take in fresh air, that's better than where you're at right now. Anything right now has got to be better than the comfort zone that you're in. I say comfort zone because it's just the easiest way to explain it. So pile number 3, I hope that resonates with you. I'm going to leave it there because I feel like I'm going to start repeating myself in a minute, and I hate repeating myself. So I'm going to leave it there, pile number 3. Let me know if that resonated with you in the comment section below, and I hope to catch you all in my next video. Bye.